Hey guys! Oh, I've been so busy lately I haven't had time to do anything, but Ben's in counseling and I have a few minutes to just take a breather, and I thought I'd spend it with you. So I thought I'd tell you what I've been up to because I haven't made very many videos lately. And yeah, so I think the last video I made I said that we were picking apples and the next day I was going to go and get some pears. And so we did. We picked apples and we made applesauce and we made apple juice. And the kids had a lot of fun making the apple juice, but not so much fun helping peel all the apples for the applesauce. So, but we did get some applesauce, and so that'll be nice this winter when we don't have any fresh fruit. And then we went and picked pears the next day at my friend's house. And she has 2 pear trees, and we got quite a few pears. I think we got close to like 50 pounds of pears. I don't know how much that actually is, but it was a lot for us. We made, well, I canned some quartered pears, and then I made pear relish and pear salsa and pear jelly on top of the quartered pears. So that was kind of cool. I made the pear jelly out of the skins and the cores, and then I let it drain overnight in a jelly bag, and then used the juice that I got to make the jelly. And the kids really like it, but they say it's super sweet, so you have to eat it on bread. I don't know why they thought they could just sit down and like eat it out of the jar or something, but anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what it's for. So anyway, and then so we had fun doing that. And then this last weekend we made salsa out of the tomatoes that were ripening in the garden. And then we also made some tomato sauce that I'm going to use for chili and tomato or spaghetti and that type of thing. And the kids really enjoyed sticking the tomatoes down in the little tomato juicer. I'll have to show you how this works because I froze my tomatoes, bags and bags and bags of them. I think I have like 10 bags of tomatoes that I froze, and then you just let them thaw out, and then you put them through. We got that KitchenAid attachment. I did a video when I got it. And you just stick them down in there and you push them down in there and it just juices them right out, and it's super, super easy. That was way easier than making the salsa where I had to like dip the fresh tomatoes in the hot water and take the skin off and then cut them up. This was way, way easier than that. And so I'm really glad that I saw a video that I did that said you could just freeze them and then later you could come back, and they look horrible. When you take them out of the freezer, the tomatoes look horrible. They look like a grumpy old man, like that got his face deflated. I mean, they are just like these wrinkly, horribly looking, disgusting things. And you put them in the thing and out squirts tomato sauce. It's amazing. So anyways, I'm going to have to show you guys that because if you guys are as busy as I am, you don't have time to do tomato sauce every time you pick a few tomatoes and hope you get like a quart of sauce. I didn't have time for that, so I just finally started throwing them in the freezer, and now I can just do a whole bunch in a weekend or in 2 weekends or however long I have. And oh, and my corn got done and I picked it all, and I was able to put some of that in my pressure canner and can that. So I'm super excited about that. And I'm going to tell you guys, some people say, why do you go to the trouble of canning all this stuff when you could just freeze it? And I could. I have a big deep freeze that I'm not even using. It's not even on right now. Yeah, I could do that. But I'm going to tell you what my kids did this weekend. I don't know which one, but somebody got into the freezer and they left it open this far. and nobody noticed it. And the next morning I went to put groceries away and the whole freezer was thawed. This is why I don't do the freezer. I mean, I do put things in the freezer. I put a few things in the freezer, like stuff that we're going to use in the next couple of weeks in the freezer. And I was able to save some of the fish. We had it for lunch, and then I was able to like cook up some of the chicken, and then I forgot it was in the oven and totally charred it into a hockey puck, but I tried to save the chicken. And that's why I did the tomatoes, because they were in that freezer and they were thawing. And so I thought, well, it must be time to just finish thawing them and make these tomatoes. So that's why I did the tomatoes this weekend that were in that freezer. And then the other tomatoes were in another freezer. We have 2 refrigerators, and the other ones were in the other freezer. So they didn't thaw, so that wasn't a big deal. But so nobody noticed that the door was open, and I hadn't been home. I'd been out with Sean. We went up to Frankenmuth. We had a fun day. But that's why I don't do freezer stuff, you guys. It's not usually my kids, right? It's usually that we get a storm and the power goes out, like what happened earlier this summer. Or there was one time where we had just gotten a whole like quarter or half of beef and had just put it in the freezer. We went on vacation like 2 weeks later, and there was a storm, and the storm popped the circuit on the garage, and not the rest of the house, because I asked somebody to go over and check on the house to make sure we had power, and they did, but they didn't check the freezer. And when we got back from our week-long vacation, all of that beef that was in the freezer was totally ruined. So this is why I don't really like to do the freezer. I don't really want to do the freezer. I want to spend the time, and yes, it's more time and the energy, and yes, it's more energy, and it probably costs a little bit more because I have to run my stove all day to do it. But at least this way I know that my food's not going to go bad if there's an accident. And if it does, it's minimal. You know, like I lost a few chicken breasts and a pork tenderloin because the freezer got left open. Yeah, it's not ideal. Yeah, I was irritated and ticked at my kids because they weren't paying attention and left the freezer open. But that's why I don't like to do, I want to can stuff and not put it in the freezer. You know, you never know when there's going to be a storm or some other reason the power goes out, and I don't want all my food to go bad overnight because the power went out. So anyway, so that's what I've been up to. Not super exciting. I will try and do a video of the grumpy old man with deflated heads tomatoes so that you guys can see that. So, but anyways, guys,